So we've gone through functions, we've gone through building lines, so we're on to graphing lines. Just like we've talked about in a lot of our videos before, there are three forms of our linear equations that we have to be able to graph. They are still slope-intercept form. This is the one that we like the most. It is the easiest to graph. Y equals mx plus b. Excuse me. We then have a point slope form. We're also going to cover that one today. Still decently, it can still be graphed quite easily. It's just a little bit different. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. The only thing we have to remember about point slope form are these 2 points, y1 and x1, they have to be the opposite sign when we use them. Now our third form, which we're not going to talk about until tomorrow, we'll just rewrite it again. Standard form. ax plus by equals c. It is not graphable from this form. We have to do some work to get it graphable. Today we're just focusing on the forms that are graphable. We're going to start with slope-intercept form. The two pieces of information are slope and y-intercept. Our y-intercept we get from this secondary point right here. It is the second number in this coordinate pair. It's always paired with 0. Our slope, how we move, is a number that's always connected with x. It is 3, in this case 3 over 1, telling us to move up and to the right. So we start at our starting point, 0, negative 4. And then we move according to our slope, up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. 2 dots is the minimum, but we like to put dots all the way across. That way our straight line is as perfect as possible, not like mine because it kind of there's a weird bend right there. And we've graphed our line. This 2/ is really 2/5. It's harder to type out fractions. Breaking it down the same way. Where do we start? The 0 comma something. It is the second number right there. Our slope, 2/5. The fraction right in front of the x is once again up and right. So we start at 2. We go up 2, right 5. We could also go the exact opposite, negative 2, negative 5. That's down to left 5, just so we can have a few more dots on the graph. We connect the dots, and we have our line. This is what's known as the parent function of linear equations. Parent function. It is the most basic, but because it's the most basic, it does cause the most amount of problems. Y equals x is still in this form. So if we were to adapt this to have the other form, the number in front of x is a 1. And if I need to add something to the end that isn't truly there, I can add a 0. So once again, I start here, and we move by this number. We start at 0, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. All the way across. We can also go the opposite direction, down 1, left 1. And just like that, we have our line. Point slope form, very, very similar. The only difference between a point slope form and a slope intercept form is we're not going to start on the x or y axis. Let's say 99% of the time we won't start on this axis. We probably won't even start on the x-axis either. First piece of information to grab is our slope. It is still a fraction, so it's negative 4 over 1. So we will be moving down and to the right. We could move the negative to the bottom number. This means we would move up and left. Same line, just two directions on the same line. Where we're going to start is actually at a point. That point is going to be whatever x1 and y1 happen to be. What we have to remember is we have to take the opposite sign. So for instance, the 5 right here, that's x. We want to put it here, but it has to be the opposite sign as it's listed here, so it's positive. We're going to need the negative. Negative 3, that's y. But we want the opposite side, so we want the positive 3. Once we have our point, this is where we're going to start our equation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Right there. Just as if it started over here, once we have our first point, we're going to move according to our slope. Down 4, right 1. Down 4, right 1. Connect the dots with the line. And that's graph in point slope form. Trying it again. Again, our slope, 2/3. So we don't need it. We need our point of x1 and y1. So again, x is right here. We need the opposite sign. Y is right here. I need the opposite sign. There is our starting point, 3, negative 2. And then according to the equation, I go up 2, right 3. If I want another dot, I can't go up 2, right 3 again, so maybe we can go down to left 3, down to left 3. Here are some points. Connect the dots. Now we've graphed our line. Got one last one. Slope is negative 4/3, or 4, negative 3. Either one is fine. Our point. Here's the x. We know it's x. I know I haven't mentioned this earlier. We know this number is x because it's in the parentheses with x. We know this number is y because it's connected to the y. We also know, because the equation for point slope form is listed like this. There's x1, there's y1. So we need the opposite number, negative 4. We need the opposite number, positive 1. So we start here. Then according to the slope, doesn't matter which one we use, we're going to have to go down and right or up and left. Well, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Can't go down 4, right 3 again, so maybe we can go up 4, left 3. We can't, so these are the only two dots that we're able to plot, which is fine. 2 is the minimum. Connect the dots, and we've graphed our line.